Hey guys, today on People Now, friend of the family, Cain, reacts to Sarah and Todd Palin's unexpected divorce.
We'll tell you what William H. Macy says about his wife and daughters in his letter to a judge in the college admissions cheating scandal.
A happy ending for Chris Hemsworth and his family's missing dog.
Angelina Jolie opens up about being a mom to 6 teenage kids in a rare new interview.
My daughter, her health, her safety was in danger.
Jenelle Evans' husband David confirms he killed her dog, and the couple tells us how they are moving forward together in a People Now exclusive.
Plus,
but you've never seen me quite like this.
Jerry Springer has a new show, and he's here to tell us all about it.
Live today on People Now. Hey, happy Tuesday, everybody. Welcome to People Now. Good to see you. Today, we're starting off on a more serious note with a family in Oregon who's begging others to prioritize time with their children after one of their sons unexpectedly passed away last month.
Yeah, a very heartbreaking story. We'll be telling their story a little later in the show. But first, we want to give everyone some ideas to honor their message this week in our People poll. So will you head home from work a little earlier to spend time with the kids, do chores with them for some quality time, focus on playtime, or maybe try cooking with them? Vote on these in our People poll. And if you don't have kids, we want to hear the special way that you spend time with your family. Tweet us them with the hashtag PeopleNow.
Yeah, it's one of those stories that really gives you perspective and a shift in, a reminder of what's important. And we'll break all that down in a little bit and check in on the results of that poll as well. But for now, here's what you need to know and what's trending today. We begin with this. William H. Macy is supporting his wife, Felicity Huffman, with a detailed and revealing letter to the judge presiding over her case that reveals the actress's relationship with her daughters exploded. The actor submitted a letter of support ahead of Huffman's sentencing, which is on September 13th. In that letter, Macy explains that Huffman rebuilding that relationship with her daughters will be a long process, adding, "But I also want you to know Felicity has raised 2 amazing young women." In that letter to the judge, Macy goes on to explain Huffman's upbringing with her mother, that it was sometimes violent and that she had been mostly raised by either her sisters or, being the youngest, left to her own devices. In the letter, he shares an example of her independence using the time that she moved to LA at only 15 years old to pursue acting. He wrote, quote, "She lived with a 22-year-old friend of the family and put herself in high school and found her way to auditions and classes all on her own. I think the result of her unstructured upbringing was a determination that her children would always have a mother there backing them up." And he added, "As crazy as her life was in Woody Creek, Felicity's family is very close. She talks to at least one of her siblings almost daily, and one of the joys of my life was being accepted into the Huffman clan. Felicity's family is her world." That was his quote. And the couple had their 19-year-old daughter, Sophia, in 2000, and their 17-year-old daughter, Georgia, in 2002. In the letter, Macy explains that as soon as Sophia was born, Huffman threw herself into parenting by reading tons of books, and as they raised the girls, they decided to keep them far from Hollywood. He said watching her as a mother has been a wonderful thing, but motherhood has always frightened her. He says, quote, "She struggled to find the balance between what the experts say and then her own common sense." According to Macy, their daughter Sophia paid the dearest price after her mother's arrest, revealing that she auditioned for a college that ironically doesn't require SAT scores, only to have that school withdraw its invitation to audition. He says that she was devastated, still doesn't like sleeping alone, and has nightmares from FBI agents waking her that morning with guns drawn. He then ended the letter writing, quote, "There's much to be done, and some of the hurt and anger will take years to work through, but we are making progress. Thank you, Your Honor. If I may, I'd like to tell you one more thing. Every good thing in my life is because of Felicity Huffman." That was his note to the judge. Huffman also wrote her own letter to the judge describing her desperation to be a good mother was one reason for why she participated in a plan to fix Sophia's SAT exams and facilitate entries into college. People confirms that prosecutors recommended to the judge that she face 1 month in prison, followed by 12 months of supervised release and a $20,000 fine. However, Huffman asked through her attorney that she get 1 year probation and community service. Macy, who's been married to Huffman since 1997, was among 27 people who wrote letters on her behalf. He was not charged in the scandal, and a source tells People the two remain united during this very difficult time. All right, on to this. Actor Cain is surprised by the news that his friends Todd and Sarah Palin are divorcing. Dean, who competed with Todd on NBC's 2012 reality series Stars Earn Stripes, was with the couple at their Alaska home a few months ago. He tells People they seemed wonderful together, and he adds, "I'd hate to speculate on the cause, what happens behind closed doors, and how people grow and change over time is something no one can ever predict or understand, save those two people." Todd filed for divorce from Sarah Palin on September 6th, his 55th birthday. Alaska's first dude, as he was often referred to when his wife was governor, is tapping Anchorage lawyer Kimberly Colbo for the proceedings. Now, Colbo represented Todd's eldest daughter, Bristol Palin's ex, Dakota Meyer, in his divorce from Bristol in 2018. According to court documents, Todd cites incompatibility of temperament between the parties, such that they find it impossible to live together as husband and wife. Prior to Todd's filing, the couple had been plagued by divorce rumors for years, all starting when Sarah ran alongside John McCain as his vice president nominee in 2008. Now, back in 2010, Sarah told People that Todd was, quote, good about laughing off those rumors, including one tabloid headline that claimed there was a $20 million divorce settlement between the two. Now, the two have been married for 31 years. After meeting in high school and eloping in 1988, they share 4 adult children together, Track, Bristol, Willow, and Piper, and 11-year-old Trig. Todd is seeking joint custody of Trig and fair division of assets. Dean Cain says of his friends that they are both extremely devoted and wonderful parents, and he adds, I'm certain that they'll both remain dedicated to Trig and their other children. We'll keep you posted on that story. All right, Sonny was lost, but now he is found, everybody. Chris Hemsworth and his wife Elsa Pataky's missing dog Sonny has been found after going missing in Byron Bay, Australia. Now, the golden doodle reportedly ran off after she was zapped by electric fencing last week. But luckily, a friend of the couple revealed the exciting news on Facebook, writing, Sonny has been found this morning. According to Page 6, multiple people helped spread the news that Sonny was missing. But on Wednesday, family friend Tracy Sparks revealed that the very friendly pup was approaching her 3rd night lost. Sparks asked everyone in a local Facebook group to please keep a lookout for her. Hemsworth's personal trainer reportedly joined in on that search by sharing a missing poster on Instagram that called Sonny a much-loved family pet. The video that you're seeing now is one that Hemsworth shared of him and Sonny chilling at the beach in February of 2018 while they did a surf check, which is them checking to see if the water was okay for surfing, as you might have guessed. In the video, Hemsworth asks Sonny if they should go in or not. It's an adorable video. They're obviously best buds. According to a post on Pataky's Instagram, they adopted Sonny back in November of 2014. Their family also includes 3 children, 7-year-old daughter India and 5-year-old twin sons Sasha and Tristan. We're, of course, happy to hear that Sonny is safe and sound, hopefully reuniting with the family.
Yeah, very happy for Sonny.
Good news.
What a cute dog, too.
Yeah, and a great video. More videos, please, Chris Hemsworth. All right, Andrea, you have more for us on Star Trek.
Yes, we are kicking off Star Trek today with one actor who turned a major health issue into a major victory. Antonio Banderas is opening up about how suffering a heart attack in 2017 helped to inform his character for the new film Pain and Glory. The movie follows a director reflecting on the choices he's made in life, and Banderas won Best Actor at the 2019 Cannes Film Festival for his role. Now, speaking at the Toronto International Film Festival, the 59-year-old says that the director wanted him to tap into his emotions about his own real-life health struggle. Watch this.
It changed me in certain ways. Yeah. And so Iman Pedro detected that. He saw it and he says, you know, don't hide this thing that I don't know how to describe, he said to me, that you have now after you have your cardiac problem. Don't hide it. I think the character actually can use that because the character is filled with pain and a lot of diseases and a lot of solitude and loneliness. And I knew exactly what he was talking about because after you have a heart attack, you receive an amount of information about what life is all about that is very difficult to describe in words, but it just set up a new way of understanding life itself.
The actor went on to reveal exactly what he learned about life from the experience and the changes he has made since.
You become more raw. You eliminate things that you think that were important in your life and you just erase them out of your life. You said. Money, for example. You realize that money is just an intellectual process. And then you say, okay, you know, the things that are really important, they pop up in a very interesting way.
After the heart attack, Banderas says he realized how important his family and friends are in his life. Also a priority, his passion for acting and for telling stories, which he's had since the beginning of his career doing theater in his hometown of Malaga. You can see Pain and Glory when it hits theaters in the U.S. in October. Well, Serena Williams may have lost on the court Saturday, but she was definitely winning on Monday when the legendary tennis player and her husband, Alexis Ohanian, made a date night out of the New York premiere of the new documentary, The Game Changers. Williams showed off some simple elegance in a white satin slip dress with a V-cut neckline. The 37-year-old accessorized her sleek look with a silver drop pendant engraved with an S and yellow snakeskin pumps. Ohanian wore a dark suit paired with shiny black sneakers. Good-looking couple. The couple's night out comes just 2 days after Williams' U.S. Open final loss to 19-year-old Canadian Bianca Andreescu. The superstar called the two-set tournament game her worst match, telling reporters, quote, "It's inexcusable for me to play at that level." Williams previously lost to Andreescu during the 2019 Rogers Cup Finals when she was forced to retire due to back spasms. Though the mother of one has continued to play tennis at a very high level, 2017 was the last time she won a Grand Slam title, defeating her sister Venus in the Australian Open while pregnant with her daughter Alexis Olympia, who is now 2. But her losses aren't keeping her from the sport. Williams said after her latest loss, quote, "I'm so close, so close, so close, and yet so far away. I don't know what to say. I guess I gotta keep going. If I wanna be a professional tennis player, I gotta keep fighting through it." Well, Angelina Jolie is opening up about being a mom to 6 teenagers in Britain's Hello magazine. Just a few weeks ago, Jolie's eldest son, Maddox, began college in South Korea. She reveals to the magazine how this milestone gave her a new perspective on life, saying, "When your children are little, you feel more mommy. When they are teenagers, you start to remember yourself as a teenager. You see them going to punk clubs, and you wonder why you can't go. I'm in this fun moment where I'm rediscovering myself." Jolie has always been a very present, hands-on mom. So what values does she instill in the Jolie-Pitt clan? Well, she tells Hello, it's important to be humble, know the freedoms you have and what you've been blessed with, and make sure you help others. And always remember your place. We're all human and very flawed. She continues praising her children, calling them strong individuals, but still open-minded. Jolie says it's important for her to lead by example, which includes encouraging some political activism along the way. She tells the mag, quote, "We need to prepare the next generation because there's so much happening in the world. They're up against it." She adds, "We're counting on our children, so we must give them the right knowledge and support." Completely agree with that. And those are your Star Tracks for today.
All right, guys, stay with us. Our exclusive and revealing sit-down with David Eason and Jenelle Evans. They are addressing the incident with their dog, their marriage, and so much more. Plus, Jerry Springer is going to be here live on our couch. He's telling us all about his new show, Judge Jerry. We cannot wait for this. Stick around.
All right, this is a tragic story that has gone viral. A couple from Oregon is urging other parents to prioritize their time with their children after they recently lost one of their twin boys.
Now, highly successful businessman J.R. Storman and his naturopathic doctor wife Jessica Brandis shared 8-year-old twin boys, Wiley and Oliver, and adored their life in Portland as a family of 4.
But their lives were flipped upside down last month when Jessica discovered her son Wiley lifeless in his bed. The heartbreaking events that transpired were detailed in essays on both of their LinkedIn pages. The articles are aimed at other parents, begging them to spend time with their children before it's too late.
Yeah, really tough story. Both essays detail the morning of the death. JR had gone to work without saying goodbye to his boys, was in a meeting about PTO when he got the call from his wife. He regrets being harsh with Wiley the night before. Wiley was previously diagnosed with an extremely mild form of epilepsy. It's called benign Rolandic epilepsy. He's believed to have died from what's called sudden unexplained death of epilepsy.
JR and Jessica are now adjusting to their new normal and are struggling to accept their son's unreached potential. As they say in the essays, he never got a chance to do things like launch his own business, get married.
But one important lesson that they are taking away from this tragedy is the importance of spending time with family. In his post, JR writes in part, quote, "Hug your kids, don't work too late. A lot of the things that you are likely spending your time on, you'll regret once you no longer have the time. If there's any lesson to take away from this, it's to remind others and myself not to miss out on the things that matter."
And Jessica echoes her husband's sentiment, writing in her post, "If we've learned anything at all, it's that life is fragile and time really can be so cruelly short. We wish a lot of things were different, but mostly we wish we'd had more time. If you are a parent and have any capacities to spend more time with your kids, do."
Yeah, and she adds, take your vacation days and sabbaticals and go be with them. You will not regret the emails you forgot to send. From now on, if you email or text me and my reply takes longer than expected, know that I'm with the people I love, sharing my time, creating my new identity, and I encourage you to do the same.
Yes.
Really is a heartbreaking story, and the perspective that it gives, and brave of them to take this tragedy and put it out there for other people to learn from.
Yeah, and it's definitely inspiring other people to reach out to family members, even if you don't have kids. It makes me want to call my mom, call my sisters, and remember that life is very fragile.
Yeah, our hearts, of course, go out to their family during this very difficult time. We wish them all the best.
Yes, and before we move on from this story, we've been asking you how you plan on honoring this family's message by spending more time with your kids this week. So let's take a look at the poll results that we have.
Playtime. It's the best time. Truly, some of my favorite times with my girls are like just rolling around, like wrestling with them and playing with them.
Yeah, I would choose playtime over doing chores. Yeah. I'm not a parent,
Doing
but
chores with
that's
them, you're still doing
would
chores.
choose.
You're onto something there. Get them to do the chores. You can talk to them while they do them from a distance. Anyway, keep voting, guys. For now, though, we switch gears to this.
So former Teen Mom 2 star Jenelle Evans' husband, David Eason, has confirmed he killed her dog, Nugget.
David, who's received significant backlash and criticism for his decision, opened up about what led to that fatal decision in an exclusive interview with us on Monday. Take a look.
Well, one story that's gotten a lot of attention is the dog incident. So you're here to set the record straight. Let's get into it. Did you kill Janelle's dog, Nugget?
Well, it wasn't really about did you kill the dog or not. There was a situation where, you know, my daughter, her health, her safety was in danger. Excuse me. I mean, it upsets me just as much as anybody who doesn't even know Nugget may think they're upset. You know, this was something that nobody wants to ever have to do. I mean, the dog was aggressive. Yeah, she might not be huge or whatever, but you know, when a dog bites a child on the face more than one time, then it should never be around a child again. If you give the dog up for adoption, one day it's going to be around children again, regardless if the person has kids or not, or whoever it may be. If you call the authorities at that point, the law says the dog has to be euthanized. I'm not going to pay anyone to euthanize my dog when I can do it myself. I mean, I love the dog. I still think about her every day. I mean, you know, it's hard. It's really hard for me. And you know, a lot of people, they put me down for it. They hate me for it. But you know, like I said, it was not something that I wanted to do.
And it also wasn't something that was supposed to meant to be public. It's a private family issue that happened within our household, and we didn't want it getting it out in the news at all, of course. But, you know, I mentioned it to one friend. She told, you know, Kaiser's father, Nathan. Then Nathan called the cops and said, check on my son. TMZ got a hold of that 911 call, and that's how it got brought up in the news. And, you know, David has also grown up, you know, in the country lifestyle. He hunts, he fishes, and, you know, the way he was raised is really different than a lot of other places, because we understand that people are scared of, you know, the whole gun thing, and they just don't understand it from David's perspective. And he's grown up, his father taught him, you know, don't let any animal hurt you, especially if it's like even a bear or a coyote or something crazy. And he just thought what he was doing was best, and he does realize that what he did was wrong, and he does realize that he shouldn't have done it, and he didn't, he said, I'm sorry, I didn't realize how bad it was gonna hurt everyone, not just me, but the kids. So he understands all that.
Yeah, looking back, instead of killing Nugget, do you think maybe you would have wanted to rehome the dog?
I don't think the dog should have been rehomed, no. I mean, regardless of what I did, the dog would have been euthanized. It wasn't up to me, it's the law. The law says if you don't euthanize a dog that bites somebody within a reasonable amount of time, you are held liable for neglect whenever an animal is harming a person. I could have gotten in trouble, actually. If I had called the authorities, they're gonna euthanize the dog regardless.
Yeah. And Jenelle,
There's no choice, it's not up to me.
Yeah, there was reports of and a recording of you calling the police regarding him killing the dog. Do you regret making that phone call?
Well, they actually, the chief of police, they called me and they said, we need you to call us back. And I was like, okay. I didn't call them at first, they called me. So then when I called them back, I was like, what's going on? He was like, we need to know if this is a publicity stunt or not, because if it is, then I'll just go on with another case and I'll close yours. He's like, but if it isn't, we need to investigate. And I said, I am telling you right now, you can call my husband, here's his phone number, but what happened did happen, and you can investigate as much as you want and call my husband and ask, you know, what happened, you know, where the dog's at, if it's alive or whatever.
Yeah, he called me, I called him right back.
So, and then
I called him and told him, you know, basically what had happened. And he told me I didn't break any laws, so there was nothing that he could do.
What surprised you most about the fallout from the whole dog killing incident?
I think, well, to me, it was more like, I think, instead of conversating with me before it happened, he just did it, and he didn't realize how big that was gonna be if it did get out, and he also isn't used to social media or being on TV or anything like that. I've been around it since 2009. I know, you know, my actions from the past have made me learn not to do those mistakes again, and David, I think, is learning from everything that's happening, and he just needs time to do that.
And David, I can see that you're remorseful and you feel really bad about the situation. Have you forgiven him, Jenelle, fully?
I have, and we went to co-parenting counseling sessions, and it's kind of like a marriage session in one. And he's also taken anger management classes. He took 6 classes, completed the whole course. So, I mean, he did do things to try to better himself, and we've been working out really well ever since. And, you know, we got over it, and actually, my pit bull, Jax, he actually killed one of our pigs recently. So instead of David saying, well, I'm gonna euthanize the dog, let's just give the dog away. So we gave the dog away instead to one of my friends, Katrina, who has like 30 acres of land. So he's even taken the initiative to just correct his actions and not repeat the same mistakes he's made before.
So amid the dog controversy, Jenelle and David temporarily lost custody of their children. There were also rumors of a potential divorce.
So we wanted to know how their marriage is doing today.
How would you describe your marriage now?
I think stronger than ever. I mean, especially because of the CPS thing that happened. We were like, oh God, we had to be so strong during that. It was so hard to just hear accusations as a parent that aren't true, and having to go through that as a couple, and not being around your kids for 2 months for no reason. And there's no evidence or anything against us. And that's why it was ultimately dismissed, but sorry.
It's okay. No,
I was just at home every day, like just crying, and you know, my house is like just so alive, and my kids are there every day, and then to wake up and it's so silent, and it's only me and him, and we usually cook breakfast every morning, and they were gone.
Coming this fall.
Please raise your right hand.
I've been a lawyer.
The man,
I've been a big city mayor.
the myth,
And you've probably seen me on TV at some point.
the legend.
But you've never seen me quite like this. You feel me? No, I'm not going to feel you. That's the other show.
Court is in session.
I'm going sidewalk to sidewalk. I also drew a diagram.
Can we get a close-up?
Judge Jerry.
yes, the man, the myth, the legend, and the man who changed the face of daytime talk shows. Heading to court, he's taken his wit and charm to his new show, Judge Jerry. Please welcome to People Now, Jerry Springer. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, how's your morning going so far?
Well, I'm not in the obituaries, so
I know, we hear that you check the obituaries every morning.
the first thing I do when I get up, and it's kind of, well, if you're, I'm 75, and when you're this old, all these stars you grew up with, you know, my sports heroes, movie heroes, or whatever, they're obviously 10, 20 years older than me. So they're all going now.
So you want to know.
Yeah, it's like, I'm alone.
Well, you're not alone. You got a lot going on. In
Yeah.
fact, you recently had this other television milestone. You participated in Celebrity Family Feud. Before we get to your show, I just want to talk about
Yeah,
that.
sure.
How'd you prepare for the feud? That's
Yes.
such a fun show. Steve Harvey does such a great job.
He's wonderful, and it was a lot of fun. And we were up against Doug Flutie's family.
Okay.
And he's a great guy. Had a lovely family, and they won.
Oh, okay.
We were on the air most of the time because we were getting most of the answers. But at the
Deliberating,
end,
yeah.
I didn't realize the strategy. Well, they just come in for the last question. If they get the last question right, they steal all your points.
It's a game of strategy.
So we were the losers.
There's always an answer or a category that kind of turns heads. Was there one that really stumped your family, or that was the head turner?
Yeah, well, it wasn't my real family. It was my show family.
Yeah, the show family.
Yeah, the show family. And, we had, my assistant, Jenna, was on the show. And she, there was a question about what people do in Vegas. And, and she said, well, they have nookie. And I'm thinking, what generation were you born in? Okay,
Was the answer there?
Well, no.
No, of course not.
No, and God love her, she's a very happy, young, very professional young lady who's just recently married. But why would you use the term nookie?
Yeah, but nookie.
Yeah, and so she's backstage now and is really angry at me.
Is she? She's over there somewhere.
Just keep this interview going.
Okay, we'll keep it moving along.
All right, after 27 years, the Jerry
Yes.
Springer Show has come to an end. What are you going to miss the most?
Other than the trip to the bank,
Yeah.
no, the people. The people. It's the most fun job, and I'll tell you why. If we go out, so let's say we went out to dinner, and I'd say, "How was your day?" And for most people, "How was your day?" And they'd say, "Well, it was a tough day at the office." Oh, a funny thing happened at the water cooler. And then they say, "Well, Jerry, how was your day?" And I'll say, "Well, I had this guy who married his horse." I'm always going to have the better story. So why wouldn't you have wanted my job? Every day it was something stupid. And it was just, so it was a fun job. And, I'm very lucky that it worked out so well. But now I'm having this show, which really brings my life into a circle, because I started out as a lawyer, and it's really the only thing I was trained to do. Mm-hmm. And now I wind up being a judge. So this is kind of cool. I've really enjoyed. We've already taped some cases. The show started yesterday, so and it did well. So hopefully
You've
it
had
continues.
such a great long career. Looking back, even especially at the Jerry Springer Show, what's the number one thing that you've learned about people?
We're all the same. Some of us just dress better, and I'm actually serious about that, because my whole life, I've been dealing with regular people. They aren't famous, they aren't rich, they aren't powerful. They're just regular people that are involved in a tough situation at the moment. And once in a while, we look down at these people. We get very elitist. We say, "Oh, they're trash. Look, doesn't even have a full mouth of teeth," and all this stuff we say about them. And yet, you take celebrities who do the exact same things, are involved in the exact same scandals, and we put them on late night television, and we can't wait to buy their books, see their movies, buy their albums. They're heroes to us.
You're exactly right. Yeah.
And the people that appear on my old show, we call them trash? Really? What's the difference? It's only that celebrities are better looking or
Status.
better, or
Wow.
Have the money or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and, many of us lucked out, maybe in the gene pool of parents, or maybe we were born with a better brain or better health, or whatever the reason is, we got lucky. And a lot of these people didn't get lucky, but I love the fact that they can be in a free society, they can be on television and talk about what is important in their life. And you know what? God bless them. They want to talk about that, something they're angry about. Who are we to say, "You're not smart enough to be on television. You don't speak the Queen's English"? No, they should be on like everyone else.
I'm curious, what does your wife make of your career, especially the Jerry Springer Show?
She thinks I sell insurance. I never. We've been married 46 years. I never told her I'm Jerry Springer.
Does she tune in?
No, my old show, the Jerry Springer Show, we've been on for 27 years. about 5 years ago, in the middle of the show, the executive producer calls me over and says, Mickey's on the line. And I go, oh my God, because she's never ever called me during a show. And you know, when you get a call from home, you think, oh my.
Something
so I
bad,
say,
right?
Is everything okay? And you know, I rushed to the side to the phone, and she says, oh my God. I said, what? She says, she took off her blouse. I said, what are you talking about? She says, I've just watched your show. Is this what everyone complains about?
They just saw it
How
finally.
can we be married all these years and you never watch my show?
You don't know what's going on here?
You never see it? No, it's not, you know.
That's really funny, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And no, so she, you know, she likes when I'm on political shows and stuff like that.
Well, let's talk about this show now.
Yeah.
This insight that you bring, this past with the law and everything else into Judge Jerry. How'd the show come about?
It's about a month before I stopped taping the Jerry Springer show. And Sean O'Boyle, who's the head of sales for NBC, he comes into the office. It's a 2-minute conversation. He says, you got a moment? Yeah. And he comes in, he shuts the door, and he says, would you do a court show? And I said, well, yeah, you'd be a judge. You're a lawyer. Why don't you do a court show? So I took 12, 14 seconds and said, okay. And that's how it came about. And I love doing it. It's the first grown-up job I've had in 30 years.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, it's true. And it's like we do 30 to 35 cases a week.
Whoa.
And then every other week. And the off week is when I have to study the cases because these cases come from all over the country. So I have to know the law in the particular state where the case is
Really
filed.
doing it. What kind of cases
Yeah.
are you taking on mostly?
It's small claims, so the award has to be $5,000 or less.
Right.
But it's car accidents, landlord-tenant, personal relationships, shooting of a dog,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Things
Yeah,
like that, yeah.
these are the cases we get. And
What's been your most colorful case so far?
well, actually, because I know what you were just interviewing before, there was, and I'm going to try to make this fast, there was a fellow went up in a small town in Minnesota and was plowing the snow for his mom at his mom's house, and he brought his dog with him. The dog just ran over, it was a lot of snow, to the next property. The couple there sees this dog, doesn't know who the dog is, and the dog is barking at them and scaring them, so they run in the house, they lock the door. I don't know why they locked the door, the dog wasn't going to unlock it. And they opened the window, took out a shotgun and shot the dog. Didn't kill the dog, just shot the back legs. And because of the snow, a blood trail was left as the dog crawled back to the plaintiff, to the people who owned the dog. They filed suit for the damages, $5,000 for the vet bills. And the tough thing about that case is, obviously, what the heck are you doing shooting a dog? If you're scared of a dog, and people are, you go inside. You call the next door neighbor. Is that your dog? You call 911, whatever. There's another way to deal with it. You don't shoot the dog. So obviously, the first instinct is I'm going to give $5,000 to the plaintiff. She's right. He shouldn't have shot the dog. But that town in Minnesota has a leash ordinance. And you say, well, it's just a leash ordinance. But
That's
the reason
deciding factor.
The reason you have a leash ordinance is so that these things don't happen. Normally, it's a dog biting someone. However, you have to balance what the law is and what seems just.
And reasonable,
Now,
right?
And reasonable. And if you balance the two, violating the leash law, even though it would have prevented this accident, is not as significant a crime as shooting the dog, as far as I'm concerned. So I ruled in favor of the plaintiff. I just didn't give her the full $5,000. I think I wound up giving her $4,000.
Like that. Judge Jerry rules right here. And the whole process, we just see it play out. By the way, I used to be a huge fan. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this to you. I used to be a huge fan of Judge Judy.
Yes.
Still a huge fan.
She's the best.
Do you know her? Have you
Yes.
consorted with her about like strategy, kind of taking on, swift justice?
No, I know her. She's a lovely lady, very smart, and has been only nice to me. But no, I haven't spoken to anybody about how to do it. I think the key is she's the best. And the times that I have seen her show is she's a disciplinarian, very strict, very tough, boom. That's a different personality than mine. And what distinguishes these court shows from each other is the personality of the judge. And my personality is more different. It is different, not more different.
Yeah.
It's different. So I tend to view whoever I have in front of me, the parties, as how would I talk to my child or how would I talk to my grandson? If I am disciplining them, and I would explain it. In other words, I never want to be mean. I never just want to say, that's it. So before I make my decision, I always explain to them why I'm deciding the way I am. So it's more of a fatherly approach maybe than it is to the strict judge approach.
Okay.
And that's and then I joke around in the middle because I can't help it.
Yeah, just talking to you, I'm so excited for this show. You mentioned the dog case before, and we were also talking about the Jenelle Evans, David Eason case where he shot her dog. What is your take on that case specifically?
I'm not dodging it, but I don't know enough about the details. I just learned it watching your show.
Yeah.
Well, we will circle back with you after you find out more.
Yeah, because I really liked your approach to the whole situation when you were describing your case.
I do think we have to recognize that the moral answer, we all have the same view of justice. I mean, when I say all, 99% of people, if you give them a fact situation, no politics involved, just what's the fair thing, from a 7th grader on to a senior citizen, we all come out on the same side. We all know. We all go, oh, at some time, or oh, we know what's right. But then there are the laws. And the laws are usually to enforce what is right, but not always. Because there are things that go into making a law, like who's behind the legislators that passed it, what was their motive.
Right.
So not every law is fair and just. I mean, we had laws for years that promoted segregation. So we know what is
not
more
fair and just, right? Yeah.
So not every law. So therefore, you start out with what is right, what is the just thing, what would you do if that was your kid? That is the right answer. And now you look for a law that it fits into. And you try to find that balance.
Makes sense. By the way, I know people follow you, and that maybe people have followed your political career or whatever. I love hearing the thoughtful lawyer, Jerry Springer. Fantastic. We learned that your gavel has some significance. Tell us about that. Your gavel was made by your wife's sister, I think? Or?
My brother-in-law, my
Brother-in-law,
wife's sister's husband.
Okay. Made the gavel.
He made the gavel. He chopped down a tree on his own property. And he made a gavel for me. It's beautiful.
Very cool.
It's beautiful.
We can't wait to see it in action.
Yeah.
It's great to talk to you. Yeah, thank you so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Hey, thanks. You guys are nice.
Yeah, guys, check out Judge Jerry. It airs weekdays on NBC. You can check your local listings.
Actress Chantel Riley has so much going on these days, from starring in Pearson and Winona Earp to even releasing her very own single.
On top of that, she's launching her very own roundtable series that takes a look into the various facets of the arts and entertainment industry across the globe.
The idea was sparked when Chantel took a trip to Nigeria earlier this year, and she started to wonder what the industry looked like from their perspective.
Biggest thing for me was the fact that there's no major studios. Like here we have, WB and you have all those other, but out there it's just like if you want to do a project, get the money together and they just make it happen. And then you have the followers and you have fans and you have amazing actors out there just to bring it together and make it happen, which is really cool.
And so as this, woman who can do all and is doing all, what has been the biggest challenge for you to get that particular project going?
Because, I'm doing this by myself, it's financially all on me. So, as an executive producer, you kind of have to get the funds together.
Put the bill, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You're like, wait, we need how many more bottles of water?
Drink that whole bottle before you throw it away.
Drink
Every drop.
You didn't eat yet? Oh, okay. You're pretty much taking care of everybody.
Yeah, I love getting her take on things. And when she isn't producing her own series, Chantel can be found returning to one of her first loves, music. And her new single, Not Anymore, was inspired by her own experience with a little situationship. And for those of you not familiar with the term, we'll let Chantel explain.
We be getting in these situationships. You with a significant other, and it's not necessarily like official, but you guys spend a lot of time together, and you make all these plans for each other, and then it just all falls to the wayside. And so you're like, well, you said you were going to do all these things, but not anymore. Well, I'm done with you.
We've all been there. Now, the song was inspired by a year-long situationship in Chantel's life, and she explained to us how writing and performing it has helped her move on.
you know, it's therapeutic, and music has always been therapeutic to me, and I think for a lot of people. And so it's just a way to kind of help me just write it on the paper, release it, share it with everyone, share my experience, and just move on and hope that it would help other people.
Did you have past situationships reach out and say, is this about me?
No, not yet. They wouldn't dare. No.
They know better. They know better. They know it's about them. They're afraid to reach out.
Right, don't do it. Get out of my DMs.
Ooh, we're gonna start narrowing it down here. Are you in a place now where you want to date? I mean, you're very busy. Is that like something that's on your?
For me, it's right now. It's like it's all about work. But look, I'm all about meeting new people. So, hey, what happens, happens.
I would imagine because you're like doing so much, you're constantly kind of encountering new people and things, right?
And that's the fun part about this industry. You meet a lot of really cool people. Not necessarily the ones I want to date,
but cool people.
But cool people,
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
nonetheless.
Right, so since she mentioned exes sliding into the DMs, we had to find out if her DMs are actually open.
Sometimes it's like flattering. Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
you know, you get some nice things. I don't get anything nasty now.
Yeah.
Don't be this isn't permission to be sending me anything.
No.
But
Be
you know,
respectful,
people are very
right.
respectful. They're
Yeah.
very respectful.
That's good. So the DMs are open if you're respectful. Got it. Now, Chantal's love of singing might have something to do with her love of Broadway. She even starred as Nala in the hit show The Lion King. Has found a lot of success on Broadway, still going strong in Times Square.
Yeah, one of the best parts of live theater is that things can go wrong during live performances. So when we took a walk down memory lane with the former Nala, we had to know if there were any mishaps that stood out. Watch.
I've definitely fallen on stage before.
Yeah.
During the Nala Simba fight scene, you know, I run out and Simba catches me, and then he throws me off and whatever. And there's been times when, you know, the catch didn't go as well. Or, you know, he does like a cartwheel behind me, and one time he completely kicked the mask off of my head.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm just literally sitting there like, let me just crawl off stage real quick.
Grab that mask, put it
this
back
thing
on.
back on, because that's where the mic is.
Yeah.
That's where.
Yeah, and it's like a contraption, right? It's
Yeah,
not just like a
the
little
whole
right, yeah.
get up. And so I'm sitting there with my wig cap on and looking at him like, okay, give me 1 second. Let me just. You literally knocked my block off. That's great.
There's a theme here, and it's that like all those mishaps were that some dude's fault. So
You see?
I just
Get it together.
Get it together, fellas. Get it together, fellas. Maybe that's who you're writing about. In this one. Returning to Broadway, is that something you consider?
Absolutely. I would love to come back. So somebody? Hello?
Yeah, right?
I'm here. I'm ready.
All right, you heard her. Let's make the Broadway return happen.
Yeah, on top of everything she has going on, Chantal made time to attend Essence Festival this year, where she had an unlikely encounter with a very famous face.
So I'm on the treadmill. It was early morning, and I was doing my workout. I was doing some sprint intervals, and I was about to leave, and the Gayle King, she said, excuse me, how fast were you running? And, you know, I'm like, I was probably running about like 11.3, like whatever, nothing. She's like, all I saw were just feet. That's all I could see. And then we just had a great exchange, and I sent her my sprint interval training on email. Wow. She replied.
So now you're Gayle King's trainer too, on top of doing every project in the world.
We're best friends. Sorry, Oprah, but.
Can you imagine you're meeting your idol and it's right after you get off the treadmill, all sweaty?
And then you
This is how I meet my
then you
idol.
sort of become like their expert advisor. Just
email buddies
all of a sudden.
first and progressive.
By the way, she was one of my favorite guests in a long time. She was so fun.
Yeah,
and she's
she was
doing
hilarious.
everything too. Like career goals, life goals, everything.
Yeah.
All right, coming up tomorrow, we're joined live by actor Oaks Fegley, who stars in one of this year's most anticipated films. It's called The Goldfinch.
Yeah, we're talking to him about the movie's world premiere at the Toronto International Film Festival and what it was like working alongside such a star-studded cast. Thanks for watching. For now, we leave you with one last thing from Lola Lennox. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Hi, I'm Lola Lennox, and this is one last thing. The last show I binge-watched is Big Little Lies.
It's gonna get us. It's gonna get us all. Who are you talking about? Why?
The last thing I Googled was how to curl my hair. The last song stuck in my head is Serengeti because I've been singing it a lot recently.